Of 34. A slight chance of rain and snow showers tomorrow with otherwise cloudy skies and a high near 37. Mostly sunny for the weekend with a high near 34 on Saturday and a high of 40 on Sunday. Here on this Thursday, January the 12th, 2023 at 11:35, we have cloudy skies with a temperature of 49 degrees in Beaver County. That's a look at the news for now. I'm Curtis Walsh on 99.3 FM, 95.7 FM, 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and streaming live around the world at beavercountyradio.com.
It's time for Notes on Local Entertainment, the show highlighting the best in local talent. Hosted by Scott Tady Entertainment, editor for the Beaver County Times, and Eddie Crow.
Hi there.
Jimmy.
Scott, how you doing, bud?
Good. Good to see you, the guest host today.
Guest host, yeah. I think this is the first time I've been on the air here since, my goodness.
You have the most natural radio voice I've ever heard.
Oh, you're kind. You're very kind.
And how do I follow up Peter Gabriel's daughter? That's a tough act.
I'll tell you what, I enjoyed that so much. In case people didn't know, I enjoyed that so much. So much, yes.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Got that in there. I'll tell you what, she's very sweet. And the book is just pretty amazing, too.
Well, I've said before, I'm so envious of you. You got to see the Genesis tour, The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, 1974 tour. If I could go back in time, that might be the one tour I would go back and see. What do you remember about that?
Everything. It was. I remember it was very silent. The album hadn't come out yet, and when we went in, it was at the Syria Mosque. They had like the inside album inserts over all of the chairs, so like you could read like what was going on. They had rail and they had pictures and they had like the album insert, and so I read some of that. But one of the things I remember is when they were performing. Absolute silence from the crowd. No, you could hear a pin drop whenever they had their interludes, in between the music or whatever the case may be. It was really, really silent. And then when they finished, man, the place erupted. It was just amazing.
That's an example of an album you have to have on vinyl because The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, it has all the words, the story. There's like a little short story that it sets the stage for all the music. I don't think you can buy that on or get it on Spotify or YouTube. Just not the same. You have to have the vinyl album with the great photos and everything.
Oh, you do. Yeah, you really do. And it's just so cool. As a matter of fact, since you brought that up, we were there. There were 11 of us. I played in a band at the time called Alter. We did all original material, and we were very influenced by Genesis, Yes, King Crimson. So we were a progressive band. And our heroes, of course, were Genesis and Peter Gabriel at the top of the list as far as the members go. And it was just so incredible. But there was a friend of ours, his name is Gary Toplak, and he was a photographer. And he took some pictures, and one of the pictures he took was of the Slipper Man. And our keyboard player, Danny Page, I think you know Danny Page from Page One Studios.
Okay, yes.
In Midland. Jimmy Ross is recording there now, as a matter of fact. He had this picture from Gary, and he goes, "Hey, Jimmy," he goes, "would you like a copy of this?" And I said, "Oh, my goodness, yes. Of course I would." And so he made me a copy of it, and I can't find it, naturally.
Well, that was one of the characters Peter Gabriel created, this sort of surreal underground character. There, great photo.
Isn't it? It really is. And I think that was supposed to be a diseased penis.
And how was that not a name of a punk band? I think I saw them at the Smiling Moose a couple years. That's the thing about bands like Genesis and Pink Floyd. They were the ones that really brought the theatrical element to rock concerts. Before, I mean, the Beatles, Rolling Stones, you were standing there, they were watching them stand there sing, which is great music, of course. But I like how those bands, they brought characters and the cool lights and the visuals. And, I'm not saying every concert needs that, but I like when I'm at a concert that does do that.
I agree. It's almost like theater, and I love the theater involved. Like they're telling the story, but they're also acting it out.
Right. Yes.
And that, of course, that was the downfall for Gabriel and Tony Banks mainly. Because everybody started noticing Peter when he started dressing like a fox with a red dress and the flower, and he started getting all this attention. And the rest of the band didn't like that because they said, well, everybody's starting to think that we're Peter's band. We're not. We're a band together.
Bunch of virtuoso musicians. I've interviewed Steve Hackett, the guitarist, a few times, and you can still tell in his voice there's a little bit of a bitterness about how things didn't work out near the end there. But I mean, he's doing well too, and he's actually playing the old Genesis songs at places like the Palace Theater in Greensburg. But,
we go to every show.
Yeah, you had better seats than me last time. I remember that. I saw kind of a theatrical show over a couple days ago. I got to see Sting at the Pittsburgh Symphony.
Oh, yes. I saw your review.
And it freaked me out at first. Sting comes out wearing like one of those headset microphones like you see a boy band wearing.
Yeah.
And it took a few songs to get used to that. But once I did, he looks great. He's 71. He took off his jacket at one point. He looks like he could box 10 rounds. You know what I mean?
He probably could.
And then, the Pittsburgh Symphony was really into it. And the conductor, Moon Doe, I was spending a lot of time watching him. He was almost as engaging as Sting. But they did 2 sold-out shows at Heinz Hall. They did a bunch of Police songs, of course, Every Breath You Take, and, of course, Roxanne. But I love Sting was telling stories. And to me, I like when a singer does that, too, when they explain, here's why I wrote Roxanne. He tells a story about being in a Paris hotel when no one ever heard of the Police, and there were prostitutes going in and out, and he saw a poster for Bergerac, the play, and he remembered the Bergerac character, Roxanne, and one thing led to another. He wrote a song about a prostitute named Roxanne, and here we are, one of the most classic rock songs ever.
Yes, definitely. And I like when they do that, too. I was surprised to see him playing with the symphony. Now, more and more people seem to be doing that. And I remember that him and Peter Gabriel, they did a show together. They did a tour. Actually, it was just New York, and I don't remember if they did the West Coast or not. I think they did. But anyway, Peter Gabriel, before that, did a show with an orchestra. And he toured with them, And so I was wondering if maybe Sting got maybe the idea from talking to Peter or something.
Well, there's reason to have hope because Peter, as you know, Peter Gabriel had a new single come out earlier this week or last week, and that usually portends. He announced his first album of original music in however many years, so you gotta think a tour is coming.
Yeah, it is. It'll be here in 2023, probably in the fall.
Okay,
from what I understand. The name of the album is I/O. I/O. Have no idea what that means. And on his Full Moon Club, I'm a fan. On his Full Moon Club page, he said that he was going to have one song come out per month during the full moon. So that makes me wonder, is he doing something different again?
Clever.
And not putting out an album, but just putting out one song a month until he puts out the album's worth of tunes and then put the album out.
I like that idea. You build the anticipation that way.
Yeah, yes.
Well, they announced the Coachella Music Festival lineup today, and one of the things that stood out to me, Blondie is going to be there. Dena, I'm sure you've sing some Blondie songs. You probably sing them very well. I'm hoping that means a tour for them as well. It's been a good 10, 12 years since I remember seeing them at the Palace, but wouldn't that be something to see Deborah Harry back on stage?
Want to speak?
Hi, everyone.
I'm seeing Dena Miller, great, one of Beaver County's best vocalists here, and I thought of Blondie.
Thank you, Scott. Yeah. Hello, everyone. It's nice being here. Thank you for inviting me. Is that better? Okay.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Don't act like you've never been in front of a microphone before. I've seen you command the stage for a sold-out place.
This is true, but this is like an entirely different kind of way of being in front of a microphone. So,
so you can hear that you can't hear.
yeah, and really, that's so much better. And really, Jimi was supposed to be the person doing all the speaking. So, I was just kind of sitting back and taking it all in.
How many bands you guys are in? You're in Hat-Trick. You're in name them. There's band Us. Who else? Where's some of the? I know you have a show this weekend at the 19th hole in Chippewa, right?
We do with Hat-Trick.
Okay.
Yes. 8 to 11, I think it is.
Yes.
What's on the set list? What are some of the songs, or is that a secret?
Oh, no, not really. We're doing some new tunes. Should I say?
We are. Yeah, go ahead.
We are doing an older tune. We're doing Neon Moon. Randy, our guitar player, is going to be singing that. Your Mama Don't Dance and Your Daddy Can't Rock and Roll.
That's a fun one.
We're going to do that one. And what's the newer one that I'm doing? Oh, a Keith Urban tune.
Oh.
Love Somebody Like You.
Nice.
Good tune.
Yeah. So those are some of the newer ones we're doing. And then just kind of mixing it up. We have a lot in our repertoire. So we're just kind of mixing it up because we play at the 19th hole pretty often, and we like to just mix it up for the people. Give them different tunes each time they come. So
that's a good room there. That's a good country rock kind of place.
It is. And then we have a band called Free Fall, and playing quite a bit with Free Fall. It's a dance band, And one of the things that's interesting for me is I've never played that genre of music. It's like I've played everything. My man, Mars Scarazzo, kind of like taught me everything. He says, you don't want to just play rock. You don't want to play jazz. You want to do them all and be able to do them all well, at least well enough to get by. And I've never done disco dance music. And that's what we're doing. So it's a challenge for me.
You doing some modern stuff too, like Bruno Mars, for instance? Or
We are actually. It's a dance variety kind of band, is what we're calling it. We do like R&B and funk and some jazzy things. But we throw in some of the older tunes too, like At Last, of course, and Heart. We do Heart, some Heart tunes, and I don't know. It's just really cool. We try to put in all time periods dating back to, what would you say, the 60s?
Yes.
Yeah, and keep everybody dancing on the floor. Totally different vibe with that band than it is with Hat Trick. Just in the way people respond. They respond both, well to both bands. It's just the responding is different because it's a different genre of music.
Yeah, sometimes you want to be just swept away by great songs and sit there, have your beer, and then sometimes you want to get up and move. You know,
Right.
I thought it was interesting. The Jaggers are doing a Valentine's Day dance at the Hopewell VFW,
I saw that.
February 11th, and the Jaggers been doing it for going on 55 years or so, but still doing it at a high level. Jimmy Ross, as you mentioned earlier, has a new single out. He
has two. He has Statue of a Fool, and he just did The Impossible Dream.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, recorded it at Capitol Music Hall in Wheeling, and he dedicated it to his mom, and it was a great performance. I really like what he did to that.
Well, he videoed it at Capitol, but the
Right.
audio was done at Page One Studios
In Midland, true.
in Midland.
Yes,
With
yes.
Danny Page. And I'll tell you what, the audio, just remarkable.
Oh my
So
goodness. The song literally brought me to tears. He did such a great job on it, and the orchestration of it as well from Danny. It was just beautiful. I was literally in tears.
That's the song people remember from Man of La Mancha and
Yeah.
The Dream, The Impossible. It's
Yeah.
this big, sweeping,
Oh.
and I love. He kind of does it understated a little bit, and it's a cooler interpretation. And then he starts nailing the big notes at the end, and like you, I was swept away.
Oh yes, definitely.
Yeah, it's amazing. So I don't know if he's working on putting an album together, like a Jimmy Ross album. I don't know if you've talked to him lately. I haven't
We text
seen
each
him.
other every once in a while. Yeah.
Yeah, you ought to ask him that. Say, hey, are you working on doing like maybe a video or some kind of a DVD? Because he is videotaping these two. He videotaped the first one in Beaver by the gazebo and some other places. Did you see it?
I did, as a matter of fact.
And then this one, as you mentioned, at the Capitol, and dedicated it to his mom, which is very, very touching.
One thing I've learned writing for the Times, anytime I have Jimmy Ross in the headline, I get a lot of clicks on my story. People love the Jaggers and Jimmy Ross and want to know what's going on. So
He's a great guy.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, he really is.
What else you guys got coming up? Any other shows? You mentioned 19th Hole.
Well, we got quite a few coming up. 19th Hole, Linden Grove with Free Fall on Friday, not this Friday, but next Friday, I believe.
That's Castle Shannon. People have been
Castle
talking about that.
Shannon.
They kind of redid that, right? And
Yes, they did. It's a nice room. It's a really nice room. They have a nice stage there. When we take a break, they have a DJ that immediately, just like starts pumping out the tunes. And then as soon as he stops, we start. And it's a nice arrangement. Like I said, it's a really nice room. So if folks haven't been out there to check it out, they should do it next Friday when Free Fall's playing. And we're actually playing the Flocka in Ambridge.
Oh, nice.
It's the Filipino American Club of Ambridge. You don't have to be Filipino to get in. And on band nights, there's no cover charge. And so people can come out and see us. And we party. And usually Gene Simmons shows up.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know him from guy looks just like him in Ambridge. That club, the Filipino club, is right across from a really cool Lebanese market too. You want to get some good Lebanese food. Highly recommend it off Duss Avenue, right?
Yep, Duss Avenue, right? Yeah, by the pizza shop.
Hey, real quick before we get to break, you mentioned Ambridge. I got to tell everyone, go out and see the Tom Hanks movie that comes out tomorrow. I got to see the screening of. There was a great Ambridge scene. There's a scene where Tom Hanks is having a road rage on Merchant Street. He goes into Stangle's Bakery. He has the most scrumptious looking eclair you ever see. So go see A Man Called Otto. You're going to love the Ambridge scene. It's about an hour in, but you're going to dig it.
Wait a minute, are we done already?
Time flies, right?
Man, how'd that happen?
Blame the leading.
Come on, Matt, turn that clock back. Anyway, it's been a great time. Yeah, go see Otto. I think it comes out tomorrow.
That is correct. And go see any of your bands.
Yeah.
Free Fall, Us, Hattrick.
Yes,
Yes,
thank you.
please. Yeah,
They're all
thanks for the
good.
Plugs.
Thanks for tuning in to Notes on Local Entertainment with Scott Tady, entertainment editor for the Beaver County Times, and Eddie Crow. Tune in again next Thursday at 11:30 for all of the updated music information in Beaver County.